Hello, Lean Maniacs. Just getting here at Laville Cabinets. And these guys build some really cool stuff, obviously, down here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I'm on site this week doing a value stream mapping session. They're also a Kazenify customer. So let's see how they use the system and what they get out of their value stream mapping.
So I'm catching you at your house.
Yeah,
while we're waiting for a delicious dinner.
Yeah, I'm having
So tell me, give me the highlights from this week. What do you think your team's left with as far as
very
the tools
excited.
to move on with success?
Yeah, so the new tools for us are going to be, in no particular order, the quality tool from the Kazenify app, and we started implementing that. And then we worked hard on the handoff from one department to the next. For example, from drafting into the shop, providing more detail there, and had a kind of a revelation that only took us a day to realize the value of was using video on our job sites, and even through our paperwork, presenting our paperwork with a description, kind of page by page of the highlights and the things that go on. So that was a big revelation. We did our workflow, mapped out our workflow in the office.
Yeah, the value stream mapping.
The value
in the
stream
hidden
mapping,
factory.
and figured out, came to consensus on some of the things that we needed to work on. So we set our priorities for the first few layers of things we need to improve upon to get our office flowing and more aligned with our shop.
This week was all about quality at the source. Handing off the perfect package.
Right.
Every step of the way through the hidden factory and then out to the shop.
Right. The other thing is, for me, and of course Lynn was a cheerleader on this, was the standards and the value of creating those standards throughout every level of the business. And so uniformity in the way we produce really everything from a measurement at a job site, or talking to a customer for the first time, or the way we might build a door, or any of these things, but creating these standards and setting the bar high for the folks that work with us, so that we all working towards a certain standard.
Well, that's how we get, variation is the enemy of quality, standardizing is how we get control of our quality. Rolling out that quality app and tracking and gathering that information is going to allow you to target your top three and really focus on, you're just going to hammer them down one at a time.
Yeah, the combination of the quality app and the SOPs together, I think, is going to be tremendous for us. I'm very, very excited about that. I think the act of creating the SOP is going to help the guys get a better picture of the direction it ought to go.
You have two factories. Right? You have this factory where you actually make everything. You have another factory, which we call the hidden factory: sales, engineering, drafting, design, estimating, accounting, purchasing. We call that another factory. So when I was here in January, we were developing your assembly lines, speeding that up, getting some flow established out here. We need to do the same thing in the other factory. The other factory has just as much waste, if not more, than is in the factory, because you can't see it, right? That's why we call it the hidden factory. So there's a lot of waste in there. So this week we're exposing the waste in the hidden factory. I'm working with this team here: Mark, Lauren, Madison, Court, John's here somewhere, Tom. So we're exposing the waste in the hidden factory, and we're going to look at how can we feed this factory better. So less waste in the hidden factory, better flow out to this factory. We don't want to slow you guys down and rob you of lead time to make your stuff. We don't want to give you an order and say, okay, hurry up and make it. We want to give you an order and time for you to make it properly, right? So there's lots of stuff that this group is working on in the hidden factory to fine tune it and make it better so that they can better serve this factory.
At this point, we've mapped our entire value stream and we're reviewing a gate review system to ensure we have a perfect handoff to the shop.
Rolled out our quality tool here. Let's see where it is. Here it is at the end of the assembly line. So here we have our top three defects here. That's what we're going to focus on as a team. But if we want to report defects out here, click on report defects. We're going to log into the cabinet line, and then you can see here we're clicking on our defect type,
and then whether it's rework or remake, the severity, and then we click on report defects. And after we do that, we're using this tool, we prioritize our top 3 defects. So now we know what should we be focusing on, and we're gathering the data so that we're not missing anything. So we can tell, is our top 3 defects, are they making it to assembly? Are we missing parts? Do we have damaged parts? We're gonna be rolling this out at install. The install guys are gonna be doing this. The PMs are gonna be using this tool. They're going to use it on their phone or their iPad, and they're going to record all the defects they find at a customer's every time they do a punch walk, and then that's going to inform the rest of the team what happened, what do we need to fix. Someone's going to pick that up and do root cause and preventive action, and that is going to allow them to get control of their defects. And I mean, if we could just save an hour a day at our control point, if your control point's worth an hour, $1,000 an hour, that's $20,000 a month. That's just keeping track of your quality and not slowing your line down. Imagine what that equates to at your customer at the install site. Not having to go back multiple trips, your reputation, morale, all of that stuff. In front of your door it says, only come in this room if there's an emergency.
That's right.
Because you're the bottleneck. You're the engineer. Right?
That's correct.
But I also noticed you threatened me with, well, I'm going to record that. And because we launched the Kaizenify defect tracking system here, we've got you reporting defects, which is one of the most important defects you're going to be recording until you get a handle on this.
The interruptions.
Interruptions, because
all day.
We said we think a half of your day is not engineering.
Absolutely.
And it's what? Questions, interruptions?
It can be anywhere from a question they may need but could wait to can I borrow a piece of gum?
Okay, so you're recording in here. Can you go to the overview just so I can see the quality tool overview, just so I can see what you got in there? Yeah, click on
Here,
overview
okay.
there. And then you've got your top 3. You're entering, so right now, so those are the ones we put in an assembly. We got damaged parts, chips, and delaminated material. And then as we take one of those away, as we resolve one of those, one of the other ones is going to pop up. That's going to be a big one, especially because
it's already big.
You're the bottleneck,
so,
right?
I've only training with you. I've only been in here for maybe 2 hours today, or just an hour.
You've lost an hour
in the 3 hours.
Okay, so 30 to 50% is not an exaggeration then,
it's
right?
really not, and
right.
I didn't realize how bad it was until.
And that's pretty normal. Everywhere I go, we're looking at a half a day at the bottleneck in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, other people are getting interrupted too, but the bottleneck is where it matters the most. Nothing more can get out to the shop. It's all based on your capacity, because engineering is the bottleneck. So I think that's pretty wild. I can't wait to see your results.
Most of our problems will most likely go away almost immediately.
Yeah.
So that'll be the biggest task, is everybody staying focused on one.
Like, you guys made some really good headway this week, so awesome. Great job.
We talked about a couple of different problems. We talked about engineering not getting all the information they need from project managers. We solved that by putting gates or checklists in our energy software that requires us to check it off before we can move it down the Kanban line. So I think that is that has to solve it. As long as we hold to the standard, it's going to solve it. The second one was stuff being missed on site, like we built cabinets too tall, or we forgot where we missed the gas line or electrical. We solved that by doing a site video, not just for our delivery guys, but for our draftsmen and for our installers as well. So I think that's going to solve that.
Getting the team together, it's a big event. We're tying everybody up in the room for days. They had a gating system. What we did was we refined the gating system. We practiced it as a team. This is something you're going to do daily, and you're just talking about things that you're struggling with. You're not talking about the things that are going well, right? So you have the Kanban board already. We're just committing to using it, and we added a few more checks in there and gates in there to make sure we're putting in a hard stop. You don't get to blow through gate 2 if you don't have all of the information done
period. But then as a team, as you're reviewing this daily, you're committing to, all right, how are we going to get that information? What are we going to do as a team to solve this problem? Quality, we implemented the quality system, right? The Kaizenify quality system. And you guys are already set up to use that in the hidden factory. Do you think that's going to solve some of your issues?
I think so.
What
I
do you
mean,
get out
like,
of that?
if we commit our guys to using it, notating all the quality issues they have, I think it's going to solve a lot of problems because we can pinpoint the time that it takes, and we can pinpoint all the same stuff we keep repeating. We're documenting that. We don't have any kind of documenting system right now to track anything that happens repeatedly over and over and over again.
You don't have a quality management system right
No,
now, right?
we
So, and we got that up and running in minutes.
Yep.
So that's working to the point where one of the funny things is we have your bottleneck in engineering. Engineering is always the bottleneck in the hidden factory in a custom manufacturing company. We have him recording his interruptions because we're pretty sure, and this is completely normal in every place I go to, half of his day, half of your bottleneck resources, your highly skilled bottleneck resources, are spending their time answering questions, just basic interruptions all day long, right? So he's gonna, in the short term, just record his interruptions, just so we have some data. Not forever, but just so we have some data, just till you guys get that under control. Because we have to have a system in place to say, I'm not here all day, every day, just to be available. Should be engineering, and right now we think half of their day is spent engineering.
4 to 6 hours.
So there's 50% capacity right there that's missing from your hidden factory, which we would like to get back.
Yep.
So we're going to use the quality tool that way. And then obviously for your PM site walks, I'm sure things like missing parts, damaged parts, like these are all things that are going to come up over and over again, but they're going to highlight that, guys, we suffer from the same things, job after job, and it's going to force you to identify the root cause and preventive action and just make sure that never happens again. It's pretty wild when you start collecting the data what you're gonna learn. So we have the quality system, we have the gate review system, we have the team is pretty clear on standards now. We created some standards in that Kaizenify system today, but you're standardizing as well. Every time you standardize something, we're also reducing the possibility for a defect, and we consider questions defects.
Yes.
So the standardization should really help with that. And then as quality gets better, morale gets better. Okay, Lauren, you did not know what to expect before we started our value stream mapping this week. Oh, look, you're getting more wine.
Not a clue.
So you just, you were probably blindsided with, okay, we're doing something this week, not sure what it is.
I loved our gateway system. I felt like the week before, like these thoughts were in my head on how to have these PM checks in place and having information we needed before we continued to revise anything.
Mm-hmm. I think people knew, like, we got to fix this, and
Correct.
Here's how we're going to fix this. But as a single person in a group of people, it's really hard to make a system. It really takes this whole getting everybody in the room and the alignment on, let's see what the waste is, let's see what problems we're trying to solve, and then can we just come together and come up with a solution and then commit to it.
And that was what was impressive to me, how simple the solutions are.
What do you think your team's going to struggle with? Because you have the systems, you know what you're supposed to do. What do you think you're going to struggle with?
There will be something on a rush, and we'll bypass something to just push it forward because we have to.
You're going to blow through a gate because you have to.
We have to hold our standards.
I'm imploring you to.
I know.
I'm imploring you to hold each other accountable because that is going to be. You got it right. Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen, which is why I asked you that question. You guys are going to find yourself in a situation where somebody. We got to bypass the system just this one time. You guys have to really. You guys got to hold the line. Yeah. And you're not saying no to the visionary. You're just saying
no.
We spent a lot of time.
We wouldn't be here without the visionary.
Exactly. But we spent a lot of time fixing this and establishing systems. If we're not going to stick to the system this time, at least we're going to talk about what's the result of that. What kind of chaos is this going to cause? It's not going to follow our normal process. How are we as a team going to micromanage it through this?
I've sent several emails to people that they're going to get tired of hearing me type standard because this is the new standard.
Perfect.